When healing begins, purpose awakens. This is a major insight into faith, healing, and purpose. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. It is a pleasure to be here with you guys Thursday nights. And man, so happy holidays, everyone. Happy holidays. Last episode, we talked a little more about, what this season looks like and really just how we can. Give me 1 second. There we go. Making sure that we are all on task and we are on all our platforms. Yes, we are. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Okay. So last week's episode we talked all about the holiday and how the last episode, because we didn't have an episode last week, y'all. I'm all over the place right now, but we didn't have an episode last week. But last week we talked about the last episode we spoke about the holidays, right? And how they can feel heavy and how navigating grief and loneliness and the pressure to pretend can be overwhelming during this season. And I gave you guys some tips and everything to do to help you during this season. Well, tonight is our season 2 finale, and I'm excited to just jump into this and really help you end this year on purpose. Okay, enough about the holidays, they're almost over, but how do we end this year strategically to be in alignment for 2026 and to start the year with momentum? I tell you guys all the time that the new year starts when you make a decision. It doesn't start January 1st, okay? Because there are many people that make New Year's resolutions January 1st, and those resolutions don't kick in until Q2 of the year, okay? And so we're going to talk about how to end 2025 on purpose. All right. But before I do that, I just want to give some quick shout outs, y'all. This is the season finale. And I would be remiss if I do not recognize our special guests that we had throughout this season. The ladies were phenomenal. If you love those episodes, you can catch all of them on on YouTube. Hey, Aria. Hey, Aria. Thank you for subscribing. We got a new subscriber, y'all. Our community is growing. So if you've seen any of the episodes with our guest speakers, they were phenomenal. Go back, check them out. But I want to thank our guest speakers for being in season 2 with us, sharing their insights, their wisdom to all of the women that are a part of our community. I also want to recognize one of our sponsors this year, which was the Creators Conference, Tampa, Florida. Shout out to all of those amazing community builders and leaders. Y'all, if y'all don't know, the Creators Conference is also one of my babies, one of the things of the groups that I partner with to really just get creators out there and really put them in front of some powerhouses to help them grow and to really be the leaders and the innovators of this season, of this generation. And so shout out to our sponsor, and I want to shout you all out, y'all. This is season 2. A lot of you have been rocking with me from day 1. Some of you, like Aria, is a new subscriber. You love it here. You're enjoying it. And I promise you that season 3 is going to be even better. And so I'm excited to just be building community with all of you phenomenal ladies. So definitely invite a friend, join our different communities that we have. And so let's jump into this. Okay, so now that is out the way, because I definitely want to get that in, because y'all know when I go in, I go in. Okay, so welcome. All right, for those of you that are new, my name is Ashley Major. I'm an identity code cycle breaker, speaker, author, and a devoted woman of God. And I help women break toxic cycles, release what no longer serves them, heal at the root. Because let's face it, if we don't get to the root, it's going to come back. Okay. I help them heal at the root and rise into the woman God originally designed them to be. Okay. So, Queen, if you're listening, if you've been navigating emotional cycles, identity wounds, spiritual misalignment, or even silent struggles that no one sees, you are in the right place. All right. And I just want to thank you for being here because your time matters and you most certainly matter, Queen. And before we dive in, just drop a comment, y'all. Let me know if you're watching this live or if you're watching the replay, and let me know where in the world you are tuning in from because I absolutely love reading the comments and connecting with you. Okay. So let's dive into this. So I said our topic tonight is all about how do we end 2025 on purpose? How do we end 2025 on purpose? What does that look like? How can we end it aligned? How can we end it with intention strategically so that we can step into 2026 with momentum? Okay. So this episode is not about wrapping up the year. This is about crossing over into the new year. Okay. And so tonight we're going to talk about how to honor your progress without idolizing your pain, why reflection without alignment may be keeping you stuck. Okay. And how to move into 2026 without carrying emotional residue, with confidence, with clarity, and with God led momentum. Okay. And I want you guys to stay with me to the end because I will be giving out some prizes. It is the holiday. And so I definitely got to leave you guys with some goodies. Okay. So the first part of this is, why does closure matter? Okay, we're closing out this year, but remember, I want you to leave this year with closure so you're not carrying the emotional baggage into the new year. See, when we start the new year without closing out the old one, without leaving all of the disappointments and everything behind, right? We often feel like we're not making progress. And the reason why this is important is because this year may have had some unresolved disappointment. This year may have had some unprocessed grief. This year may have had some unfinished business, unfinished emotional business. It may have carried some identity confusion, right? You may have been, uncertain about where you're at and where you're going, or even just who you are, right? You may have learned some lessons that you did not integrate, that you did not implement, that you did not take action on, okay? And when this happens, we step into the new year feeling heavy instead of hopeful. Instead of hopeful. And I want you guys to know that there is a season for everything. Ecclesiastes 3 reminds us to everything there is a season and a time to every purpose under the heaven. And so closure isn't about dwelling on the past. It's not. It's about extracting the wisdom from what you've been through, from your experiences, from the lessons, taking that wisdom so the past doesn't have a hold on you, so the past doesn't bound you and bind you up and chain you up, so that the past does not follow you into the future. All right, this is important. This is important. And so you want to understand that we don't want to go into 2026 repeating the lessons that God already taught us. We don't want to go into 2026 trying to figure out why are we in the same cycle. We don't want to go into 2026 making the same decisions that are not helping us grow. Insanity. Do you guys know the definition of insanity? If you know it, drop it in the chat. If you know the definition of insanity, Drop it in the chat. And I'm not talking about the Webster or Oxford dictionary description. I'm talking about the real definition of insanity. It is doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. You cannot expect different results if you keep repeating the same patterns, if you keep making the same decision. And so the point of getting closure, the point of closing chapters, the point of addressing unhealed trauma, the point of addressing disappointments, the point of doing the work is so that you can walk freely into the new year with hope. Okay. And so I want you to ask yourself, because we're always going to have some reflection, where did you survive in 2025 when God was trying to teach you how to thrive and steward? God was showing you how to thrive, but you just barely made it through. What area in your life? Was it mentally? Was it spiritually? Was it emotionally? Was it financially? Was it physically? Where in your life were you surviving this year when God was teaching you lessons to help you steward it well and thrive? Think about that. Now, I want you to understand that you are not the same person you were when this year started. Okay? You learned some lessons, you had some blessings, and you know what? You grew. You grew. You grew this year. You are not who you thought you would be. And maybe that's the case for some of you. Some of you may be exactly who you thought you'd be at the end of this year. Some of you may have crushed those goals this year. Some of you may have elevated and thrived. But for many of us, life happened. And instead of feeling defeated, we get to champion our disappointments and use them to propel us. Okay. And so, even though you may not be where you thought you would be, you are not the same person you were when you started this year. And that truly matters, because a lot of us actually measure our success by outcomes. And it's funny because I had a conversation with a friend a few weeks ago, and I this year started off great for me. This year started off real great momentum up until my birthday. I think it was like May, June of this year was when things started to look a little different. It started to not look like what I thought this year would have looked like at the end of the year. Okay. And because of the trials that I faced, coming down, June was a trial, July was a trial, August was a trial. I think September and October were the biggest trials of my life. And I was like, okay, man, I got to do better next year. Like, I really got to get, the things that I think. And a friend of mine, and this is why it's so important to have great community. This is why it's so important to have the right community. Because a friend of mine, she reminded me, she was like, Ash, yeah, those things happen. But how many other things happened that were great? Like, this was one of your best years, despite what went wrong. And I'm so grateful for her, because I teach my clients these same things. I tell them, like, focus on the good, look at what happened great. Don't focus on what went wrong, because when you focus on what went wrong, you miss the blessings that happened along the way. And so when she said that, I said, you know what? I'm going to write down everything that I accomplished this year. And when I tell y'all, by the end of that list, okay, I had over 30 something positives, over 30 something accomplishments. I was so proud of this year. And granted, only two things went wrong this year, but those two things were so big that I let them cloud everything else that went right. And so, we got to get good at focusing on the things that are going to propel us, that are going to help us grow, that are going to keep us in position to move forward. So, I want you guys, and I'm going to give you some action steps at the very end, as I always do, to help you end this year with purpose. But I want you to get in the habit of your thinking, shifting your thinking, because that's where it all starts. It starts with the mind, okay? And so if we understand that our success is not measured by the outcome, but it's measured by our obedience to God, walking in alignment with His will, and surrendering to the things that He has called us to surrender and giving it over to Him 100%, then we'll see that everything was a success. Y'all, this year, everything that I did was in alignment with what God shared with me, with what God told me to do, even down to the one of the things that I thought was a negative. And I sat back and I looked at it and I was like, you know what? This was all God. This was all God, because He sent three people to instruct me, and my flesh was desiring this, but God was saying no. And I tell you guys often that God's rejection is often His protection and redirection. It is often His protection and redirection. Stop holding on to the things that God has already told us to let go, because you are blocking your blessings, y'all. Delayed obedience is still disobedience. And when you are disobedient, you block your blessings. Y'all, I told y'all in Bible study with Ash a few weeks ago, and I talked about the 7 rewards of obedience. Go back and watch that. Go back and watch that, because the 7 rewards of obedience is there, is painted out there for us, our promises that God has for us. And so if you want to propel into 2026 with momentum, with overflow and abundant blessings, then you have to understand that your success is measured by obedience. Your success is measured by walking in alignment. Your success is measured by fully surrendering to God. See, Philippians 1 and 6 says, being confident of this very thing, that He who began a good work in you will complete it. We know that God is going to complete what He started, as long as we are obedient. And that doesn't mean having to be perfect. It simply means that we get to make progress with purpose, on purpose, on purpose, being intentional about everything that we do. Because you didn't go through what you went through this year just to survive it. Queen, you did not go through what you went through this year just to survive it. You went through what you went through to become someone who can steward what's coming next. Man, I remember one of our very first guest speakers for 2025, L. Clark. And she shared something profound. She was talking about an experience that she had and how God spoke to her. And He told her the things that she is going through right now, in that season she was in, was preparing her for the next season. And if she didn't get it right in this season, she wouldn't be ready to step into the next season. And I sat with that. And you guys heard it as I heard it, but I sat with that, and that stuck with me, because every single thing that we go through is preparation. Every delay is preparation. God wants us to be ready, and we have to pay attention to the lessons. The things that you went through this year was preparing you for where God wants to take you. But in order to get there, you have to pay attention. In order to get there, you have to be obedient. In order to get there, you have to be in alignment. And you have to become the woman that God has destined you to be. And so I want you to affirm with me, Queens, okay? We are ending this year on purpose. And I want you to affirm with me. Take a screenshot of these affirmations. You can write them down. You can You can share this video with a friend so that they too can speak this over their life, speak this over this year. But I want you to affirm over your life that I honor my growth, not just my goals. I honor my growth, not just my goals. Many of us started this year with goals and we didn't hit those goals, but we grew. We grew. And so we have to honor our growth. We have to honor our growth. I want you to affirm over yourself that I release what no longer serves the woman that I am becoming. I release what no longer serves the woman that I am becoming. I finished this year aligned, not exhausted. We're walking in alignment. We're not trying to do it all. We're not trying to rush to accomplish the things that we had set forth this year. We are walking in alignment. And sometimes that alignment means just getting rid of the things that God did not tell you to do. See, last month, yeah, I was in Canada visiting my cousins, and I was sitting on the couch just journaling that morning as I typically do, and really just getting clear on what I needed to do and my accomplishments for that week. And I heard loud and clear, and I actually did an episode on this, which was trim the fat. Y'all, this was like maybe 3 or 4 episodes ago because God spoke so clearly to me. He said, trim the fat. And I'm like, God, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? And he said, let go of the things that I did not instruct you to do. Only focus on the things that I instructed you to do. And listen, listen, I was like, man, okay. And everything started to get clear in terms of what I had went through the previous 2 months. And I realized he was shedding and he was stripping away the things that was keeping me from accomplishing the things that he had told me to do. I had to get real uncomfortable to focus. I had to get real uncomfortable to be in alignment with where he is taking me. And so it's time for you to trim the fat. It is time for you to trim the fat. It is time for you to finish this year in alignment, not exhaustion. Okay. And the last affirmation I want you to speak over your life is that I move into 2026 with clarity, confidence, and God led direction. Because, Queens, if you are a part of this community, you know that God is at the center of it all. My favorite scripture is Matthew 6 and 33. And we need to seek God first in everything. Seek him first, seek his righteousness, so that all these things will be added unto us. Proverbs 3, 5, and 6 tells us to trust in him with all our hearts. Lean not on our own understanding, and in all our ways acknowledge him so that he may direct our path. If we surrender, if we are obedient, if we are aligned, the promise here is that he will direct our path. And so you want to make sure that everything that you're doing aligns with where God is leading you. And you want to step into 2026 with God's directions. And I'm going to share with you how you can do that. How you can do that, man. And so we are going to talk about alignment for a few more seconds, okay? Because alignment is the bridge between healing and purpose. And this is where many of us get stuck, because we go through the healing process, but we're still out of alignment. We don't focus on aligning with who God is creating us to be, who God created us to be. We're not focused on aligning with the woman God said that we are. We go through the healing process because, let's face it, we feel like, okay, they say heal so you could move on. And yeah, oftentimes we heal, but because we're not aligned, we welcome that old woman back into the house. We don't set the boundaries and deny her access. We allow her back in. And so it's almost like the healing really didn't happen, right? We can't really step into our purpose because we're unsure. We go through rest, but we don't reset. We reflect, but we don't reposition ourselves so that we can propel. And so we have to be in alignment, because alignment answers the question, who am I becoming now that I have healed? Who am I becoming now that I've let go of the past? Who am I becoming now that I have embraced my growth? Who am I becoming? Romans 12:2 tells us, be transformed by the renewing of our minds. And I started talking about the mindset, right? The mindset shift that needs to take place. And so, as I was preparing for this episode, um, I got so excited, and I was talking to my mom today. Y'all, I am in the Bahamas. I haven't seen the Bahamas in a few months. And I've been traveling and hopping and doing my thing. But I was talking to my mom, and I was telling her, a part of this entrepreneurship journey. Y'all, I've been an entrepreneur since I was 13 years old, okay? I've been an entrepreneur since I was 13 years old. That is not an exaggeration. For those of you who know my story, y'all already know, okay? But I became a full-time entrepreneur at the age of 25. And during that time frame, and I would still consider myself a full-time entrepreneur. I do have a job that I say I work part-time. And that's simply because the job doesn't require my attention 5 days a week. Okay. But I do have a job. But so I still consider myself a full-time entrepreneur. And so 2025, that's what, 10 years now I've been a full-time entrepreneur. And one of the greatest things that I learned through being a full-time entrepreneur is my personal development. Now, I started my personal development a year prior, okay? But when I stepped into full-time entrepreneurship, one of the tools that I had access to was conferences. And I started going to conferences at least 4 times a year. And so my personal development grew. But one of the biggest blessings were the people that I met at all of these conferences. And so I was telling my mom, like, yeah, the business was great. The money was great. The travel was great. Y'all, I traveled at least 7 times a year during the first 5 years of my full-time entrepreneurship. And, all of it was great. But the biggest blessing were the people that I met along the way. And I got to not only read about and hear about personal development, but I got to implement it, and I got to be around people who lived it out, which harped the messages home. And they say you are the average of the 5 or 10 people that you hang around with the most. And so the people that I was hanging around were people that were pouring into themselves, that were growing mentally, that were growing spiritually, that were growing financially. So I was hanging around big thinkers. I was hanging around people that were successful entrepreneurs, millionaires. I was in the room. And so I share this because my mindset shifted from when I was a part-time entrepreneur to becoming a full-time entrepreneur. My mindset shifted. The way I sought um, 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 knowledge, the way that I implemented things on my journey, the woman that I started to become. Now, granted, it wasn't all perfect because that was just a business, right? And when you are talking about personal development, you need mentors and you need access to help in every aspect of your life. Okay, so if it's just the business, just the financial, then something is going to fall by the wayside, right? But I had business mentors. I had financial coaches around me. I had leaders, winners in the room. And so, this helped me to really start thinking different, walking different, talking different. It really helped my mindset in terms of how I treated people from different cultures, how I showed up, how I learned, how I received information. It rewired my mindset. how I speak to myself. And y'all, I've always been an avid reader, but I started reading even more books. Okay. And so my mindset shifted, my vocabulary shifted. I had one of my students, she was in awe of the woman that I am today. But I told her, I was like, girl, this has been 11 years in the making. This isn't me overnight. And a lot of times we want overnight success. But in order to get to the woman that you are desiring to become, the woman that God has waiting for you to become, because He already created her, she is in you, she's just waiting for you to get it together. In order for you to become her, you have to do the work today. You have to make a decision today, and you have to be consistent with doing the work. And alignment requires consistency. Alignment requires knowing where you are going and doing the work. The question you're asking is, who am I becoming now that I have healed, now that I have gone through the work? That's a beautiful question, because now you get to visualize that woman. And I want you guys to sit with me for a moment. Y'all, I'm fired up. I'm excited, but this is important. We cannot end this year without doing this work, right? So I want you to close your eyes with me. Close your eyes. I want you to breathe in through your nose, exhale through your mouth. Breathe in deeply through your nose, exhale through your mouth. One more time. Breathe in 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold it. Now exhale slowly. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, with your eyes still closed, I want you to envision your best self. I want you to envision the woman that is the the best version of you. How does she speak? How does she think? How does she show up in the world? What does she do for work? How are her relationships? Does she make healthy decisions? Does she have healthy boundaries? How does she dress? What is her spiritual life like? What is her spiritual life like? How does she handle problems? How does she handle difficult situations? Is she emotionally intelligent? Is she someone that people enjoy being around? Is she someone that is high energy? Or maybe she's just calm in the midst of chaos? Is she someone that smiles often? What is her demeanor? Is she at peace? Does she have family all around her? Does she have love all around her? What does her life look like? What does her life embody? What message does her presence give? Who is this woman? This woman is you. This woman is the version of you that is disciplined, that is at peace with herself, that knows who she is in Christ. This woman is the woman that embodies everything that God spoke over her. What does her morning routines look like? Is she speaking positively every day? Is she reading her word? Is she spending time in her word? Now, I want you to open your eyes, and I want you to comment for me how that felt, seeing that woman. What emotions did that stir up in you tonight? Write it in the comments, because we get to embody this woman, but it first starts with how we think about ourselves. See, when we renew our mind, we're doing identity work. When we're stepping into alignment, we are doing identity work. We get to choose God's truth over the enemy's lies. We get to choose God's direction over the enemy's distraction. We get to choose God's calling on our life over the comfort that the enemy he disguises as okay. No. When we renew our minds, we step into alignment. Identity alignment is not optional. It is foundational. It is what we have to do in order to become that woman you just envisioned. We have to walk in alignment with who God is calling us to be. And so I want you to reflect on this question. What version of me must I release to step fully into who God is calling me to be next? Because, see, that woman you just envisioned, there are some things that she is not doing. She has some hard nose, she has some hard stops, she has boundaries, standards, values that she upholds to the highest degree. And there are some things that she will not do that you are currently doing. So, what do you need to release to walk in alignment with who God is calling you to be? All right. Now, before I go any further, I definitely want to give you guys some gifts. Okay. I want to, let you guys know. I want to thank y'all for being with me throughout this year, throughout the last 2 years. Y'all, I know I've been, in spaces where I've just been seeking God in everything that I do. And this podcast was something that He placed on my heart years ago. And I'm so grateful that I'm able to be here with season 2 under our belts, with you a part of our community. I'm just grateful to be here to pour into you and to be a light to guide you on this journey of becoming. Okay. And so I have some gifts. I just want to thank you for being here and trusting me. You could be anywhere else listening to any other podcast, but you are here. And so I want to offer complimentary coaching. Y'all know, as y'all watch every week, we have complimentary coaching. So I definitely want to give you access to that. Okay. And you can scan the QR code here and you can check out what available dates I have for the remaining of the year, or we can touch base in the new year. But I do have some slots open tomorrow. So definitely jump in. If you really want to take this new year, reset, and end this year on purpose, with purpose, and you want to take this serious, book me tomorrow. Okay. I have some slots available. I'm also going to drop the links in the show notes. So if you guys click the drop down box on my YouTube channel, you'll definitely see the link where you can book a restoration call. Okay. And y'all, so I have an assessment that I created for women that really want to walk in alignment, y'all. We're talking about alignment. We're talking about ending this year in alignment so that we can step into 2026 with momentum, okay? And so I want you guys to take this identity reset, y'all. It is free. This assessment, sorry, it is free, and it is going to tell you where you are, and it's going to tell you what are your next steps to help you get to where God is taking you. Okay, you're going to see that there's a masterclass that is you can click and you can join the masterclass. That masterclass is scheduled for next month. I have not locked in a date yet, but still go ahead and register and you'll be a part of the next masterclass. Okay. But you guys can take this assessment, scan the code, or you can go to amajorinsight.com/quiz/identity assessment and you can take the quiz. Okay. And the last giveaway that I have for you guys is, let me see if I put it up here. So it is the Stormproof. It is the Stormproof journal. Okay. Now I don't have the QR code up Oh, I do have the QR code up. Let me get this for you guys right quick. So the QR code for the Stormproof, actually, let me do this live because I actually haven't updated it and I put it here. So the QR code is going to be at the in the top of the page. The QR code that's on the top of the page, that is the Stormproof link. But I want to make this available for the next 24 hours. Let's see. Are we gonna do this 24 hours? All right, let's do this live. Give me 1 second, y'all. So up until Christmas. So we got what? One more week until Christmas. So you guys got a week. Christmas Day, I am turning it off, but you can get this book for, and it is a digital book, but you can get this book for, let's say, $2. Since this is season 2 finale, $2. So let me go in here right quick. Let me change this price. Okay. You can go ahead and get the digital copy of this book for $2. And I'll let you know when this link is live. It is the link that is in the top of the page, the QR code. So definitely scan that. And all right. Right now, the book is $17, y'all. $17. But if you get it between now and Christmas, it is going to be $2. And so let me just tell you about this book as I change this pricing. But this book is called Stormproof Spiritual Weapons for Life Storms. Y'all, this is going to be a book that is going to help you through navigating any storm that you're going through in 2026, any storm that you've went through, or anything that you may currently be going through right now. I spoke, with a lady today that is grieving. She has a loved one that is on his way out. That's the best way I can say it. But he's slowly fading away, and she's taking it hard. And so many of you may be going through difficult seasons in your life right now. This is supposed to be a heartfelt, joyous season, but the reality is that we're all going through something, right? We spoke about how to get through the holidays a few weeks ago, because the reality is we're going through struggles. And so this book is designed, y'all, I created this to just help you navigate storms. And there are over 70 tailored prayers. You have over 50 scriptures, 50 affirmations to speak life into yourself. You have reflection. You have things to help you deepen your connection with God as you struggle, because God never said that we won't go through things. He just said that we don't have to do it alone. Okay. There's testimonies, there's insights, there's tools for spiritual growth in this book that's going to help empower you through everything that you're going through. Okay. And so it is, hold on. Let's I thought I did it. Oh, it's at $1, y'all. I accidentally clicked $1. So if you go in there now, you get it for $1, but it's gonna be $2. Okay. I really just want to make sure that you guys get this, and I do this now because your girl is super busy, and anytime I do not do something right away and I don't write it down, I am most likely to forget it until I need it. Okay. And so I want to make sure that I get this done right now. All right. So it is at $2. If you got it for $1 just now, kudos to you. But the book is for $2, and it's going to be at $2 until Christmas Day. Okay. So hop on that. I tell you what, I'm going to do it for $2 until New Year's Day. Okay. So that's my gift to you guys. That is my gift to you guys. Okay. After New Year's, it's going back up to $17. So take advantage of this giveaway. Okay. Y'all, I appreciate you. That is just my show of appreciation to all of you that have supported me. And so you have access to that book for $2. All right, so let's wrap this up. Let me give you your actionable steps so that you can end this year on purpose. And let's close it out. Okay, so how do we end this year on purpose? Okay, actionable steps, write it down. The first thing we need to do to end this year intentional, okay, is we need to close it out with truth. Truth, not emotions. Truth. So we get to write down the things that worked, all of the things that went right, all of the things that we thoroughly that was a thorough success. Okay, we get to write it down. We also get to write down what didn't work, and don't have any shame behind it. End with honesty. Okay, just be honest about what's happening in your life, what has happened throughout this year, good and bad. Because when you know what didn't go well, you also know, okay, how can I make it better, or how can I do this different so that it does go well, right? And y'all forgive me because I always say Albert Einstein, but Albert Einstein did not create the light bulb, okay? So please, if you've heard me say that over the year, over the weeks and the months, ignore it, okay? I know it was not Albert Einstein, but he's often always the first name that comes to my mind, but it was Thomas Edison, okay? I got it right this time. Thomas Edison, who created the light bulb. And if he did not get it wrong so many times, he would have not gotten it right. He would have not gotten it right. And so understand that every failure is a lesson. It's a lesson of what not to do. It's a lesson of how we can make something better and do it different. Okay. So write down the things that did not work. Write down the lessons that you learned. Okay. Write down the things that did go well. Give yourself a pat on the back, congratulate yourself, okay? Love on yourself a little, treat yourself to something nice, celebrate the wins, okay? And take the lessons, take the things that didn't work, the things that didn't go right as lessons, okay? Just write them down. Now, the second step is you get to release the things that cannot go with you. So before I even jump into this, let's go back to step one, because I have one of my very best friends and mentor, and y'all may know him, Josh Valentine. We used to host the Breakfast Club together, and one of the things that he always talks about is creating a highlight reel. Okay. And the highlight reel is a reel of all of the great things that you've accomplished up to this point in your life. All of the great things that you've accomplished up to this point in your life. You can create a highlight reel for 2025. And so that highlight reel looks like pictures, videos, journal entries that you've put together and compiled into a reel. We make idiotic reels on social media all the time, random reels, funny reels. Why not create a highlight reel of your 2025? What are the things that you enjoyed? What made you laugh? Like close the year with truth. Okay, close the year with truth. Now let's go to step number two: release what cannot go with you. That's people, patterns, perspective. Write them down and surrender them. So a few years ago, I started doing this activity where I call it a burn party. Okay. And I've been meaning to do this with my girls. I've just been doing it with myself. But what I do on the 31st of December every year, and I've been doing it now for this is going to be my fourth year, I write down everything that I want to release, everything that cannot go with me into 2026. I write them down and I burn them at midnight. I burn them. 11:59, I set the paper on fire. I burn them. I release it. And fire, if you guys are into symbolisms and different things, well, fire is symbolic of reset, right? It's symbolic of a refresh, newness, right? Getting rid of the old and bringing in the new. So fire is restorative. And so I love the idea of having a burn party, is what I call it. And it's simply just writing it down, writing down everything. And I, like I said, I do this with myself, and I'm a person who loves to stargaze, so I actually do it outside, under the stars, and I literally just write it all down and light it on fire, and I let it go, and it's so freeing. It's so freeing. Okay. So that's something that you can do. Now, I know we say people and pardons. You can't burden the people. So write it on a piece of paper. Okay. Write it on a piece of paper. That was my idea of the joke, y'all. Okay. I don't consider myself funny, but hey, if you laugh, I hope it gave you a little chuckle. Okay. But write them down, the way that you think, your perspective on and views on certain things that cannot go with you. Some of us are negative Nancy's. We got to let go of the negativity. Okay. And number three, take the identity alignment assessment, y'all. Take this quiz. I created this quiz to really just help you navigate this journey, really see where you are, see where you need to go. Because at the end of the day, you can heal, but if there's no alignment and no direction, then where are you going? You're going to be like a ship without a sail, just drifting around, right? And so that alignment brings direction. Alignment sets you on course to grow, to evolve, to become. And so take the quiz, y'all. I let me put it back up for you, for those of you that may need it. But go ahead, scan the QR code and take the quiz. And last but no, not last but not least, I think I have two more. Let's see. Yes. Um, book a call. Book a call with me, y'all. I have freebies going out, so book those calls. I have a few slots available tomorrow. But I want you to declare. This is the last one. I wrote down book a call, but the true last one is, I want you to declare what your intention and your posture is going to be for 2026. This is another end of year ritual, if you may, that I started 4 years ago. Okay, this is year four, but year three actually. But this is where I set my intention for the year. And me setting my intention, it does not come from me. Okay. And some of you may have heard me talk about this before. Setting my intention is me sitting with God, partnering with God. Many of you need to partner with God on this journey. Partner with God. Because when you partner with God, it can't go wrong. It cannot go wrong. It may look bad to the public eye. It may look crazy. It may look insane. I'm sure I've had a few side eyes this year when I told people some things that I've been doing. And God, God does not deal in logic. Okay. He deals in his own design and purpose. Okay. And sometimes God's logic is crazy to man. So we cannot focus on what the world is saying. We have to make sure that we are stepping into alignment with God. And from I started doing this, my life has completely changed. It has made a complete 180. I told y'all this is year three. The first year, that nudging in my spirit, I was like, okay, God, did I get it perfect? By all means, no. Okay. 2020, that was 2024. It was not a perfect year, but it was a progressive year because I did it with God. It was 2024 was the year this podcast started. 2024 was the year a major insight rebranded and came back to be what it is today. 2024 was the year her Queendom ministry started. And it was all because I was intentional about being focused on partnering with God. And He gave me a mandate to be obedient and to be still. 2024 was when God told me to start Bible study. And y'all, I did not want to do it, but I was obedient. And here we are 2 years later, a year and a half later, doing the work and excited about it. See, we got to set intentions and we got to stick to it. Because although there were some things God told me to do, I did not want to do it. But here we are today, and I'm able to pour into you, ladies. I'm able to bless y'all with the things God has given me to give to you. Okay, so you got to set your intention, but to set your intention, to declare your posture, you need to sit with God and ask God, what is it that you want me to do in this new year? What is it that you want me to do in this new year? And He's gonna speak, but we got to be still, we got to be quiet. See, the reason I said set your intention and not your goals is because we can set goals. We set goals all the time. Okay. But in order to accomplish those goals, they need to be in alignment. There goes that word again. They need to be in alignment with our intention. And so if we know our intention, we know how to execute our goals. We know how to set our goals and we know how to execute them. We know what goals to set as well, because our goals that we set need to align with our intention for the year. So set your intention, Queen. Set your posture for the new year. Sit with God and align with where He is taking you. Take His direction, take His leadings, but you got to find time to sit in silence with Him. Because God is often speaking to us, but we don't hear Him because we don't take the time to sit with Him. Okay? So let me know if you guys got value from this tonight. Thank you so much for being with me. Thank you for walking season 2 with me. This was an amazing year. We had such phenomenal speakers on this podcast this year. And next year, we're going to have even more amazing women come up, share their stories, share their journeys, share their insights with us into faith, healing, and purpose. So I want to thank you for choosing growth. Thank you for choosing growth over comfort. Thank you for doing the work. Okay. And so if you are ready to end this year on purpose and step into 2026 with momentum, do me a favor, do yourself a favor, because this ain't about me, this is about you. Book the complimentary restoration call, take the identity alignment assessment, like this episode, comment on it, share it with a friend who can get value, turn your notifications on so you never miss what's coming. And I love you, Queens. Okay. So for my new listeners, if you're new here, we go live every Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern time. However, this is our season finale. So we will be back with season 3 in the new year. And I'm just grateful to all of you and the woman that you are becoming. Okay. Because Queen, she's depending on you. She's waiting on you. And what do we do when people are depending on us? Most times we show up for them. And so she's waiting for you to show up, and the time is now. All right. So I'll see you on the other side, Queen. If you got value, drop a comment. Love you, love you, love her. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas to those who celebrate, and have a blessed and happy new year. Y'all write to me. Email me at Ashley at a major insight. Comments, y'all, I read them all. I love hearing from you guys. And actually, if you want to hear from me during this season, and even moving forward, join our newsletter. Okay, so that's the link. That's just the QR code to our newsletter. And I look forward to seeing you guys. All right. Have a blessed night. This is a major insight into faith, healing, and purpose with Ashley Major.